Soviet Union. I thought you guys broke up. Yes, that's what we wanted you to think.
Must crush capitalism.
While the history of most countries is a mix of good and bad, it feels like all of Russian history is filled with sadness and oppression. And none was as oppressive as the Soviet Union. So let's go back to where it all started. While rest of Europe was getting modern and industrialized and getting things like rights, Russia and its Eastern European neighbors were still stuck in a century before with slavery-like system for peasants. So when World War I started, the Russian Tsar had the great idea of winning it just by throwing more and more soldiers to the front line, a common Russian war tactic. They use it to this day. This finally led to the outbreak of a rebellion, to add fire to which Germans sent a certain commie boy to Russia. The result was the overthrow of the oppressive Russian Tsar and formation of a liberated workers' paradise based on Marxist ideals, or so it seemed at that time. The new government ended the war, killed the Tsar and his family and promised a prosperous life for the people of Soviet Union, the biggest country on the globe. Everything looked good. Yay! Then they started killing everyone that had good land or property. Ah, okay. Then they started killing everyone who opposed this. Oh. At this point it was too much work to figure out whom to kill and whom not to, so they started killing anyone even with the suspicion of not being a good commie boy. This went on for years, and finally, after the death of Lenin, people thought that the bad part was over. But boy, did they not know what was about to start. Stalin, the next leader, made all those before him look like angels. He single-handedly is responsible for killing more than 100 million people throughout his life, a kill-to-death ratio second to none, or maybe only to China's Mao, who was inspired from him only. He pioneered the gulags, a prison labor system where you were sent to die if you even thought of opposing him. No, scrap that, a prison labor camp where you were sent to just because the police needed to fill their quotas of prisoners. So they just picked people from the streets and sent them to the wilderness of Siberia. Nice! You would think all this free labor and planned economy would have made this biggest country the strongest economy too, but that was not the case. Lots of leaders came after Stalin, each lesser of a mass murderer than the before. Life slowly improved for the ordinary citizen, and by 1980s it was looking pretty comfortable and stable for the people. But then came everyone's favorite USSR leader, Gorby Boy. Legend says that he loved USSR so much that he had its map tattooed on his head. His love meant that he wanted to give his people political and economic freedom, so he did. All at once. This sudden change of system for people who had lived a century in another system, coupled with the Afghanistan war and resentment of satellite states that just wanted to break away from USSR, finally led to one of the saddest moments on YouTube history. Anyways, here are some USSR memes. Enjoy, comrades.